One moment. Um, okay. Let me just. Okay. I have to figure this out because I'm using a different platform. I want to make sure I can see whatever it is that's going on. All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on, like a lot of stuff going on with the world right now. And I'm bringing my really good friend live with me. She has a lot of really beautiful insight, a lot of really powerful, powerful words that I really feel like you guys should hear. There's a lot of things going on in the world, a lot of things going on in the world, and I'm going to be honest. From what I'm seeing, it's not just affecting one person. It's not just affecting one group, one family, one race, one region. This has become such a widely spread issue. This is an issue. This is a human rights issue. And you would think that with all the things that are already going on, that everyone that's being very, very closely watched and very much criticized would be on their best behavior. I don't know if that's what's going on. I really don't know if that's what's actually going on right now. It seems like there's a lot of things going on in the background, just a lot. Hold on, let me see if she's ready. Oh, did I used something else before. I didn't realize I used the wrong app. She'll be on in a second. How are you guys doing? By the way, my friend is FiyahFly, Tekesha FiyahFly Martinez. I've brought her on with me before. She is a poet and just a phenomenal soul, phenomenal. And I speak to her about like really deep things. Hold on really quick, guys. So she's coming. She's coming, guys. But how are you guys dealing with everything going on in the world? How is the atmosphere in your region? Are people staying calm, or is this more of is your area very similar to what we are being shown nonstop online? Because I do recognize that oftentimes what we're shown in social media, in the news, it's far removed from what's actually going on. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the world. I'm kind of like at a loss for words and thoughts. The energy is more than heavy. The energy feels like super thick, super dense, very like a very visceral type of energy, one that kind of feels as though is going to be impossible to get through. Hold on, she's here. Hold on, really quick. Bringing you live. Hey.
Hi.
Oh, let me fix. I moved right along with the camera. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to get all situated. Okay. I think I'm good. Yeah. How are you?
I am, hanging in there, hanging in there. I was hoping that we could talk about whatever you feel like talking about.
Yay. Wow. Wow. Just going to open it up like that. I miss you.
I know. I miss you too. It's girl, like everything I know, um, everything around the world is just so intense and it's amplified even in our local areas. I think everyone's just going through something at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And locally, locally I am too. We are too. Um, I'm losing my voice a little bit. So it just poetry, speaking, all that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, we are too. Tomorrow's election day, uh, as you know. And we've talked before on here, and we've been friends for a while. And you've watched this whole thing, kind
Mhm.
of this whole me become, right? Um,
Yes.
throughout the last couple of years. And so it's just interesting. I am a candidate for city council in my hometown. Um, You know, Hagerstown, Maryland, Western Maryland. I'm not sure. How much do you know about Western Maryland, Em?
Not much. Not
Not
much. I
much.
drove through. Yeah. I know you live there, and so it's amazing because of that.
Yeah, so I'm in Western Maryland. Probably about an hour, 15 minutes from DC, Washington, DC. About an
Mhm.
hour from Baltimore. I'm born and raised in Hagerstown. So just kind of a little bit, not too far from Antietam Battlefield, where the Civil War, that kind of thing. Hagerstown's kind of on the Mason-Dixon line between the North and the South. Um, little bit, little bit of history being uncovered, maybe, a little bit close to the Underground Railroad, those kind of things. I'm not trying to pick my words. I'm just trying to slow my mind down, as you probably know. Like, yeah, just trying to slow my mind down. So we're not too far away from all that stuff. And being growing up in this county as a little black girl was not the best experience, right? Like, but I'm not gonna talk about, or I'm not a victim to that. That is what has made me and propelled me and has equipped me for such a time as now. So, like, instead of going to school and learning years and years and years, I kind of was like boots on the ground, training ground, just kind of going through this stuff. Um, I never thought in a million years that I would be running for a city council seat. I never seen myself as part of the politics in Hagerstown to just a couple of years ago, getting active. I started doing poetry at home. My One of my daughters was afflicted in a way that kind of drove me out the house. Affliction, man. Affliction to do one or two things: to get you active or make you go numb. You know. So I kind of just move into pain. So yeah, it's been it's been an interesting experience. And with tomorrow being election day, you would think like, oh, me and my kids should be like really excited because this is like their mom has been through and traumatized by every system in this town that was supposed to keep me safe, and I can stand in the gap in full love, right? Like I in full love and just want everyone to hear each other and be able to work it out. Well, sometimes that's not possible. But I'm one of those people that think that it is possible. So it's kind of like standing in between, in this whole political thing. I don't I'm not interested in playing political games when stuff like what's going on is going on.
Right.
I feel like I've been talking for a minute, and I don't know if I said anything, but
No, you've said a lot, and it really goes back to this very, very strong belief that I have that the greatest leaders are the ones who don't really want to be, who are kind of pushed into it. And I know, and I'm pretty sure you know to some degree, how much Hagerstown really, really needs someone like you. Because like you said, you've been through the system, so many different systems, every single one of them failed you, and you know what it's like, and you know how important it is to have someone who is not just on your side, but actually knows how to do something about it. And
Mhm.
so right now what's going on is there's so much of pitting people against each other, making these posts on social media that really just, so I don't know who made the post. I don't know if it's a legitimate post. There was a post of, we're going to target all, the white families. Let's bring it out from the cities and put it in the residential areas. And a bunch of people on my social media were like, oh my God, they're now going to target us. And they're like, and I'm like, y'all, these are extremist posts. You cannot have one person represent an entire people. You can't. And
No.
someone had made the comment to me, well, that's because you ain't white. Okay, they just targeted Asians today. I still don't give a shit. I don't care. That does not represent all the people that I personally know, that I have come to really love, really respect, that I come to when I have moments of really dark times and I don't know where the light is. And I go to
Mm.
you for that, like,
Woo!
girl, it's deep. It's
What?
deep.
You just said when it's really dark times and I don't know where the light is. Oh my god.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
And where do I go?
how about that? What I've learned is when it's really dark and don't know where the light is be the light. Be the light. But what happens when you go and intentionally try to be the light when it's a dark place for you? People might want to fight the light, the things that are being exposed, the things that are, or maybe the light might be too bright. So yeah, I'm sorry. That just
No, it's okay because it brings up a very good point. If you don't know where the light is, if you can't find the light within yourself, what happens? If you try and force yourself to be the light, you become synthetic light, artificial light. And that's what your environment will do. It will reflect back that fakeness, that self-hatred, that sugar-coated with like sweet, it's like, no, we see, we feel it, and we're gonna show you, and that's what spirit does. And the most beautiful thing when I go to you in a time of really dark stuff, and I like to try and keep to myself quite a bit, but the times where it was too much, too heavy for me to carry on my own, just kind of coming to you and not necessarily seeking counsel, but just being in your presence and remembering, like, we are reflections of each other. You have such a bright light. You might not see it, but man, it's blinding to me.
man, man, you just shifted. That just shifted when you said when you force yourself to be the light. It's artificial light. That was a chin check for me. That was a chin check. Because that made me think, that made me pause. And see, that's what happens when we're able to speak how we feel and share. It should. If it makes you pause, then cool. You just got some new information. In that moment, you got some new information. What you choose to do with that new information is up to you. Like, so yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Thank you all, Van, for the super chat. I just feel like right now where we're at, people are being positioned, and I don't really think it's willingly. I think there's a lot of a sense of obligation and loyalty to your environment, and certain individuals are being placed in very strategic positions. It might not be all the way at the top, but it's in a place that's visible. And these are the very individuals who, once everything is said and done, um, these are the ones we're going to turn to, because really it's like society is in a free fall. Is this a racial war? Is this a spiritual war? Is it both? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that I think that it's a spiritual war, and that race is just a way to cause division. I think it's love or fear, and maybe not even fear. Maybe it's love and hate. I don't know, but there's two there's two paradigms, and I don't think that it's race, or I think that it's spiritual, and race is just an aspect of it. And I think sometimes it's the easiest thing to look at. And I know that I used to be it used to like trigger me instantly, right?
Mhm.
Like instantly. Just trying to protect my children, being not wanting to, or scared to raise a black man in this county, in this town. Those type of things, to actually looking at it being like, oh, this is not really about me being a black woman. Because if it's about me being a black woman, then I wouldn't be able to straighten my hair or do different things, or lower my voice in order for them to hear something else, right? Like so I don't think that I don't think that it's that. I think what happens, because it's a spiritual war, I think what happens is people don't feel okay with saying in that moment, "Oh, wow." Or I'm sorry, or whatever, and it escalates to that, and then we hide
Right.
behind different things, different layers, when really it's an insecurity within. So I believe strongly it's a spiritual war, in that, yeah, you can think about it as economic. I mean,
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
There's so many layers and levels to it, and it just, not to take away from what happens to specific groups in particular, because this is what's in the forefront, the Black community, not to take away from that, but there's so many layers and levels to what's being done right now. There's a lot of seeds, toxic seeds being sown, and there's other things, other groups that are trying to tell us, focus on this, focus on that. Anyone that, like, doesn't follow the narrative, attack them, attack them. Like this right here. I'm going to show you this, okay?
Mhm.
Can you see that comment?
Oh, who said that?
Well, they're about to be deleted. I just wanted to make it
Oh, they
clear
said it to you. Oh, to you?
to me. Yeah, hold on. I'm just going to hide that person. I'm going to ban them. So here's the thing. I believe in sovereignty. Let me go ahead and remove that. I believe in sovereignty. I believe all of us are going through very specific types of experiences in the lives that we live. Every single experience is a sacred one, very sacred one. One no more important, no less important than the other. I'm
Mhm.
truly all about equality and reunification in our diversity, not anything where we have to all be one thing. No, we're all very diverse, very unique, and we need to be able to celebrate each other, like truly celebrate each other. And I think what's the worst thing that's going on right now, I believe it is a spiritual war as well. Um, they've used not just race, but socioeconomic factors, just a whole bunch of different things. And it's like, so many of us are suffering through the same thing, but we're not seeing that because there's
Mhm.
now the narrative. Unless you follow along with what we're saying, then you're racist. Girl, am I racist? I can be an asshole, but am I racist? I don't know. Maybe in
My
ways I don't
goodness.
realize. I don't know. But I'm really about loving people for the humanity that they have, for being
Mhm,
human.
mhm,
I don't like to separate based on really superficial things, really, really superficial things. I believe every one of us can learn from each other. And when we continue that narrative of this is a Black thing, emphasize on Black, what happens is every other race is like, well, that's the Black people problem. No, this is a human rights issue. These are
mhm,
crimes
mhm,
against
mhm,
humanity. And that's what I keep saying. And people get so mad about it. You can be mad all you want. You should be mad. because it's that rage that eventually becomes the change that we need. But
Mhm,
no,
mhm,
nobody.
mhm.
And that's part of what the racial war is pitting us against each other. There, I don't know. What do you think? Is there really
So,
races or one race, human race?
well, the reason why I believe is spiritual because so up close and personal for me.
Mhm.
When it personally what's happening in my community, and I talked to my community about this earlier today, that there is a police officer, a particular police officer, and we said his name. His name is Lucas. So that way we're not saying all cops. We're saying this cop. You know,
Mhm.
that's so important. There's a particular police officer that was in a relationship with a city councilwoman. So what happens, and also has had relationships with black men in the community, right? So what happens is when you have two people in position of power, or you have people in position of power, and they have the ability to have the authority, right? And they go into the black community, it's this looks like it's a black thing between police. And it's happening in my community. And I'm up close enough to say it's not because that didn't happen on Friday with this particular officer, arresting a man in our community at almost midnight for a warrant for $300, a fine during a pandemic on a Friday night at midnight in the black community with the amount of everything that is going on. He pulls up by himself. He was taken off patrol in that community because of things, because of his affiliation, his relation, all of that stuff, right? He shows up in our community on Friday during something like this and arrests a man, and this man spends the weekend in jail. I couldn't see anything, the tape that was played in the community that I grew up in with that amount of police, and I hear people voices that are related to me screaming and crying and yelling and saying don't kill him, and if you something happens to him, and all of this is going on, and I'm looking at it like, why is he there? Why is that officer there at this time of night? I can't wrap my mind around anything else. So this is happening in my backyard and has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with out of control politicians, out of control people that don't want to speak up, people that are hiding behind religious titles. They're on my live, Emmie. I name names. And so I'm not scared to talk about it with you right now because there's nothing to be scared of. Because it has nothing to do with the black and white thing. It has to do with abuse of power.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when an officer kills a black man on TV, that is an abuse of power, period.
Yep.
Period.
Man.
And it's annoying. So as soon as I begin to speak about that, then it's like you try to twist my words. You can't twist my words. You can't twist them to make them sound. I got black friends. Okay, I got cop friends. Now what?
Right.
Now what? You got black friends. I got cop friends. Like I think that we need to be specific. We need to call it out. We need to call the person out. If there's somebody that is abusing power in our communities, we say their name. We don't have everybody fighting a ghost. And that's what's been happening for the last couple of years. People in this town have been wasting time fighting a ghost. And what is the ghost? Manipulation.
Yep.
What is the ghost? Pride, lust, and all those things. All those things. So it's a spiritual war. And then we look at it and we're like, oh, this and this and this and this. It's
Right. Thank you so much for bringing that up because I don't know if it was just some sort of like mental dysfunction with me. I never understood why society would attack you for naming the person who abused you. Like, why do we have to dance around it? And it becomes even more important to actually specify who is doing this, what the actual issue is when it comes to abuses of legal power. Um, I just don't get that. I don't get that at all.
Yeah, yeah, that is a problem because I I'm someone who shows up, serves because I love, right? Like I love. And I believe that we all deserve and want a peaceful, safe environment for our children to grow, right? So I don't but at the same time, I get up and sometimes I walk out my door and I got to look around because I feel hunted. Because of, you know, people being wondering what I'm going to say. So if I say it this way, then I'm too weak. If I say it this way, I said it too tough. If I don't say it, then uh, so people are going to always have their own whatever. I just learned to, and another thing too is I always try not to cry. Like, so that would stop my words, but I don't. We try to take too much control over how people tell their stories, but then we say tell your story, but then we don't tell your story like that. No, put on this and tell your story. Don't do it like that. Oh, they abused you, hold on, wait, we'll tell that after this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't process that. I can't process that. And I couldn't process that as a little girl. Like, I couldn't process that when all the adults around me were all manipulating for themselves and saying it was for the kids. I I couldn't understand that. Like, so I can't. And why?
I can't understand it either. That's why I'm just sitting here quiet. Like, I don't know why people do that. Like, I've always wondered, is it just because I don't know how to human properly? Is it, what is it about me that doesn't understand it? Because I don't understand it. I don't understand why your truth can't be spoken. I don't understand why it has to be edited and arranged in a specific way so as to what be as I don't know, as useful a tool as because sometimes it feels like when people want you to speak about what you're experiencing, what happened, what was done to you, it's kind of like, well, I just want to get attention, so we'll go ahead and use you. This is a good soundbite. This is a good, and to me, it's like, do you want to know or do you want to just use me? Do you want to be
Mhm,
my next
mhm,
user? And
mhm.
I feel like that's what's going on in society right now. Not only did they murder this man, they're abusing his identity by using it to initiate further divide.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've seen enough videos to believe 100%, 100%. There are those who are being paid and bussed in to create a riot. I've seen so many, like a video I just saw earlier today. Two ladies were spray painting Black Lives Matter on a building, and another lady was videotaping it and was like, "Why are you doing that? You're not even black. Us black people don't want you doing this for us." And she's like, "Just be quiet." And I was like, "Whoa, oh my God!" So that's obviously someone there trying to perpetuate a storyline. This is not okay. A man died and now he's being used to create even more oppression. Granted, and this is what I don't know how to feel about it because, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right is the language of the unheard. But what's our message? If that's our language, what is our
Mm,
message?
mm,
What are we trying to say? Because
mhm,
we do need to say something. This can't continue.
mhm,
Not
mhm,
not for white people, not for Asians, not for any color. It cannot continue. It is an abuse of power. It's a human rights issue.
mhm, mhm,
Girl,
mhm, mhm. Mm. It is. It is. And I was saying I wasn't going to respond locally to what was happening nationally, right? Because number one, I'm gonna cover and make sure, or try to make sure we get ahead of anything before it comes, locally, because these things, it's a spiritual war. So these things begin to pop up everywhere, right? So I'm not thinking like, okay, I see what's happening, but I'm trying to not allow my emotions get attached to it. So I remove myself so that I'm not watching, I'm not doing anything. I'm not all into that. So when it happens in the community, I'm kind of like, I look at everybody sideways, because I'm like, there's something happening in our community. I'm sorry, something happens in our community. There's something happens in our community that looks like an officer could have taken out a man, a black man in the Jonathan Street area, and we're not going to talk about it when it's clearly showing up right now, and nobody died so that we would talk about it. That's weird to me. That's
It
weird
is.
to me.
So you said something super powerful. The notion of allowing yourself to get emotional and letting your emotions become attached to what it is you're trying to process. Is there any way to allow yourself to experience the emotions without the attachment to the negative?
So because of the work that I do as a mediator, which means I'm trained to hear people and understand and sit in between people's conflict, neutrality. So there's times where I'm literally empty of myself, and I'm listening to people's conflict. So that's my job. That's my profession. Then I do poetry. So the purpose, I write. When there's pain, I write. And then there's this activist, activism. This would really, when something happens to one of my kids, I want to go outside. So when something happens to a kid in a community, I want to go outside. Like, I want to make sure everything's okay. So there's so many different pieces that there isn't a lot of time that I'm just realizing to even process any of that, because I go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. It's a lonely place. It looks and appears one way, but it's not really. There's not a place to really release those things. And when I do release them, it's almost like it instantly becomes a performance. So even writing and sharing that there's a new poem is like, I'll keep this one. And they're not mine to keep. I know that, but
I,
yeah.
I wonder I wonder if it's time for you to feel all those emotions. Um, and when you say it's a lonely place, girl, I'm right there with you. Because when you're so busy and there's so many people that you need to, basically attend to, be cognitive of their needs and see how you can assist with fulfilling those needs, satisfying the needs. A lot of your own personal needs kind of goes to the wayside, and in order to gain some clarity, you need some quiet, and so you end up insulating yourself. You're cocooned, and like you're separate from everyone. I'm wondering if all of this that's going on is to help people even as strong as you and as strong as me, to allow your emotions to rise. um, I wrote a piece not too long ago. um, when my sadness takes my words away, that's
Mm,
when my poetry rises.
mm,
So I feel like poetry is just the words from the heart that are too hard for the conscious mind to express in a way that's conversation, so it has to come out as poetry, something more beautiful than just talking.
mhm, mhm.
And what if that's what you have to do?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That. That is exactly what that's what it's all about, you know, but, I knew that after today, I couldn't carry, like, this all of these things and not, and not let them go, and not release them. It was just they
Ooh,
weren't mine. They weren't mine. My baby daughter is 18. My youngest is 16. Like, my kids are, like, what am I walking around with my shoulders all down? I'm supposed to be celebrating and, enjoying life with my children. Like, I've sown for that. I've served for that. I've loved for that. So I'm like, why am I holding on to all this mess?
I think because not only are you here for your children, it's almost as though your entire community are your children. They're your heartbeats as well. They're a
Mhm.
secondary heartbeat. Obviously, your children will always be your first. And I was told something really profound while you were talking. Um, you were able to keep yourself detached emotionally from what's going on in the nation, and spirit needed you to be much more emotionally connected. For a time, you had to be detached, and I think now you have to be fully plugged in because that's the very reason whatever happened last Friday happened, to bring it home to you, where the people you love, the people you grew up with, the people that you raised that's related to you, shares your blood, were recorded, you heard their voices, and, you have to plug back in. Mm. You have to because the voices that you heard of your family, they're the voice of the people that have been unheard thus far. And granted, we can't take care of everything on a national level. It has to be done regionally, city to city. And there are people just like you and I in every single city. And they're in the process of shedding that insulation, plugging back in.
Mm. Why? I don't I guess I don't understand the okay, so at what point is it time for me? And I'm not asking, I'm just saying this out loud. Like, at what point is it time for me to see or to know when my time, like, here, Hagerstown? Because I feel like at this point, what else could be done? Like, I just feel like I've used my voice. I feel like I've I don't I'm just so confused. When it comes to what I understand, plug back in, but to do what? Oh, like, oh,
I don't
it's
know. I don't know. That's the same thing of like Soul told me, "You have to go live for what? What am I supposed to say? What did you want me to do? What would little old me be able to do to change anything about the world?" And Soul just said, "Just talk. We don't care what you talk about, just talk." And I think what's going on is, the moment that you're asking for, like the when, it was last Friday. It was last Friday, that was the when. And now you're in the process of plugging back into your heart and allowing your mouth to be the megaphone of your heart. No longer allowing your mind to process and censor and choose the right words and the proper delivery. And, you just need to allow that to go through. The
that
merging
is
of,
that's
yeah.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, that is exhausting. And there's literally always on time. Like, there's always phone, this, that, kids. Like, it's just always on. Always. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
A lot. What if you're being inundated with all these things that, in some ways serve as a distraction in order to wear you down, and it's taking your entire life to wear you down so that you can stop fighting your actual purpose? I
Mhm,
don't feel like you're actively fighting, but I think there's still this part of you that won't allow the truth of you to step forward.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
And I mean, a lot of you has already been seen by the world, by society, and all of that. You don't necessarily withhold love, but there are aspects of your wisdom that are buried so deep, and that's what the world needs right now. That's what Hagerstown needs, and honestly, this is what the world needs from all of us, allowing that shedding to come through, that shedding process, nice and brightly lit.
mm,
It's it's hard. It's hard for people to accept that right now. Um, Unfortunately, we need this. We need what's happening right now to really help us um, focus on what it is we want. I feel like a good portion of the people that are rioting, I'm not talking about peaceful protesters. I'm talking about the people who are actively rioting and looting. I don't know that they know what they're doing. Not to
mm-mm,
make excuses for their behavior, but the logic, I don't know that it's sound. I don't know that it's rooted anywhere.
mm-mm. No, when people, well, we just a pandemic. So I mean, but not only that, I don't think people know what they're doing a lot of times. I think that that's what makes it a spiritual war because each moment you have to you respond in the moment. And if you take the moment and it's like you respond in fear or you respond to in a way that it plants something then that then begins to escalate. And I just think that people don't know. People are just doing whatever in the moment for whatever reason, whether it's to feel good, whether it's a thrill, whether it's to survive, whether it's whatever. But it's moment by moment decisions. And I mean, even in the midst of hurting each other, moment by moment decisions.
It's I think with everything that happened with the pandemic, this couldn't have been planned in a better way if it was planned. To have everyone cooped up for how many months and just, it's like having a kid with ADHD sit completely still. How do you do that? All of that energy has to go somewhere, so it gets accumulated, and all this frustration and your livelihood is stripped from you, and you have all these bills and what's going to happen, and powder keg, boom. Now I have a reason to be pissed. Now I have a reason to let this out. And I'm not saying people's rage is wrong. I'm saying, can we just pause for a moment before we put that rage into action? Because fire, that rage is like fire. It can either help to sustain life or utterly destroy it. You
That's
know,
right.
I had someone was very upset in their post, and I had told them, well, maybe if they personally just pause for a moment, process some of that grief, that rightful grief, and then decide, like, how do I want to use this? Like, obviously you should speak out, right? If you have something that passionate inside you, speak out. And she's like, have we not paused long enough? I was like, first off, I am not the enemy. Stay mad then. Perfectly fine with me. I'm just trying to be a loving voice. You're not willing to hear it. I will respect that. Just, you do what you need to do. But the thing is, we're not pausing, myself included, because I was in a rage when all of this first started. I was
Mm,
I don't think you watched my lives, but I was doing a reading and I ended up crying, and I was just like, what is wrong with you people? Like, how can we allow anyone to be treated this way still? This is not the first time this has happened. This is
no,
not the first time. It's the first time the nation has witnessed it on video. But a lot of people struggle through a lot of things, not knowing how to process emotion, that rage. And
mhm, mhm.
I forgot you're a mediator.
Yeah.
You're like
You
perfectly suited for all of this, to be able to detach. I mean, I'm talking about your job within the city, what the office that you're running for. You're so perfectly suited for that.
yeah. Yeah. And when you said pause, that's my word. That's my word, pause. Because I like to say play back the tape. I like to say that, at different times. Like, okay, well, let's just go back and play back the tape. And I that's a hashtag that I use too. So now it's gotten to pause. Like I say that often, like, hold on, pause, like pause. And it is important, we do need to pause, even those moments where it's something comes at us and it hurts. Offense is personal. If it hurts, pause, look at it, like look at it. you know Look at it all the way. Look the whole way in. And when you do, you'll begin to see some things within. But you have to pause. You have to.
Oh, so Michael is like, do you pause enough?
No.
Freaking Michael. He said you're being groomed for something just beyond what you thought you would do.
Mhm.
It's a very profound thing. I don't know if you know what that is already. And you're kind of just like, no, there's no way. That's just silly. There's no way. But you're being groomed for that.
Mm.
You're it's you have a huge purpose in this period of transition. Humanity's going through transition right now. People thought that, with the spiritual aspect, you're just going to be like, oh, I'm awakening. I'm 5D now. And it's like,
Woo!
the truth,
Yay! Fairies. No, that's not how
no,
it goes.
the
That's
truth,
not how it goes.
not at all. The truth of a spiritual awakening is that the old you that still subscribes to the old paradigm will die away, and the new you will rise up in its place, ready to step forward in a new way of being. And in that process between the dying and the rebirth is this really gritty place where all this emotion rises up because you're now aware of the things you've been complicit in, either through your silence or full on participation. We are all complicit in the way the world has become. We are all complicit. And it's not that people have to be quiet, people have to sit at home, people have to stop protesting. No, it's about really, what is your message? Because right now, the world is listening. So, what is our message?
Yeah. 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 My message is, I don't know why I've ever, because I know I've said it. I don't know why I've ever said no justice, no peace. That doesn't make any sense to me now. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It just earlier today, when we picked up the young man from getting out of the county jail, um, I was like, no, don't say, we say, we want justice and we want peace. You have to be careful the words that you speak. Like, no justice, no peace. Why would you want to go home with no peace? You
Right.
bring peace. You have to be peace. You have to have a peace of mind. Because what I've realized in the midst of everything going on is that if I don't have a peace of mind, then how can I make and to being a mediator and knowing that the feeling that I'm feeling, like if I'm feeling like I'm anxious, that feels the same way as if I'm feeling the Holy Spirit at times. It's depending on what I'm thinking. So you have to have peace of mind because you can't get justice. So, I'm thinking about words and how we're saying things, and you know, um, we can have justice and peace. We can have justice and mercy. We can have and, doesn't have to be but,
What's interesting
or.
is the most interesting part about what you said, it just made a light bulb turn on in my head. We are being programmed. Everywhere you look, TV, social media, commercials, everything, everywhere you look, you're being programmed for whatever that specific cycle is. So we just finished with the pandemic COVID cycle. We're
Is it
now, and
over? Like,
well,
I'm like,
everyone forgot about it. Everyone's kind of forgot. We're busy buying guns and, so now we're in a different cycle. And oh, it just freaking dawned on me. No justice, no peace. We are being conditioned and we are saying it. We are manifesting it. We have no justice, nor do we have any peace. Whoa.
we're putting those words out. We're putting
Yes.
words out. Like we're putting those, we're putting, yeah. That doesn't make any sense anymore to me. Like it just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense to go. It doesn't make any sense to organize locally for something nationally and not identify things locally. And if you have the energy to do that, amazing, amazing. But I can tell you, being so boots on the ground and so up close and with the heartbeat of the community, right? Like there's no, I pray, I support. I am like, love, shifting the atmosphere, spread love and light, poem and all of that. But man, there's so much stuff in our school systems locally, in our all of that stuff. Like it's so much.
I mean, honestly, I don't even think the system's broken. I believe it's functioning exactly the way it was designed to function.
Yeah, it
Exactly
is.
the way it was designed to function. It
It
wasn't
ain't
created.
broken.
No, there's nothing to fix. It just has
No.
to be done away with completely. And I'm not necessarily saying a violent overthrow. I'm saying we as a people need to start really thinking about what are we participating in. Without our participation, those cycles cannot continue. They can't.
Mm.
They just can't.
The systems need to be infiltrated and dismantled. And
Yes.
and that's the only way. Infiltrated and dismantled. And you can only do that by hearing and understanding each other. Because you can't infiltrate anything being loud. You can't infiltrate anything. Like if you're trying to infiltrate, you're coming in strategically. You infiltrate and dismantle. Their system's not broken. It needs infiltrated and dismantled.
What if that was the new thing instead of no justice, no peace? What if people began saying infiltrate and dismantle? Oh, that's so powerful. You know, I believe society is programmed to behave like young toddlers, and the people in control act and are seen as the adults. One of the most effective things, I used to love babysitting children, especially the little toddlers. When they get out of control, I don't yell, I don't threaten. I get real quiet. I sit down and I just look at my hands and I smile. And those nosy little buggers, they will come to me and be like, "What are you looking at?" And then they will sit down. I'll be like, "Sit down." And they will sit down. They'll get quiet. Next thing you know, all of the toddlers are sitting in front of me, looking at my hand like, what does she have? What does she have? And
Hmm.
everyone's quiet. No violence, no aggression, no nothing. I don't know that silence would work, but there's definitely some component to that. There's something to that, where maybe if instead of we're fighting, we can just begin implementing. Those of us who understand can begin implementing the change, and eventually that like a wildfire, it catches on.
Yeah.
Definitely catches on. I think you need to go live more. I don't
I
want
do
to tell you
too.
what to do, but
I do too. And when I'm cute, it's 2:30 in the morning here. So morning.
you still look cute. I feel like there's so much that you can do because you have a very balanced mind, one that's aligned with your heart. You're very connected to divinity, and as a mediator, you know how to detach from your personal feelings, emotions, opinions regarding things. You're able to, and you're willing to address everyone's needs, everyone that's involved. You are so perfectly suited for this, and people need to begin hearing you.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, because it hurts. And it doesn't hurt to not be heard. It hurts when other people aren't. You know, I've the trauma has been my training. You know, that's I do a talk called that. My trauma, I use my trauma as my training. Um, because that's what it is. Um, so yeah.
Girl, I gotta write these down, and I'm gonna start um, creating. How do you want me to quote you as FiyahFly?
You can say whatever you want. You're my homie.
I have so much love for you. You have no idea. I have so much love for you because of the fact that when I went through something so profound and I had to really just isolate myself because there was really no other way to process my journey. Most people, when I go quiet and I'm unreachable, they become very vindictive, very angry with me, and don't want anything to do with me anymore. And that's what I'm accustomed to. And no, you were like, no, I got to do something on my own. There's something I need to, and I think in that separation we learned something so profound
Yes.
together yet apart, because your words still followed me even though we weren't talking, and I mean we didn't have any problem with each other. There was no fight. I just went mute, but
Mhm.
your words still follow. They still follow me to this day. They follow me, and
Just
there's
like just like your numbers do, girl. They follow me. So
oh man, yeah, no, I I'm being told that there are many more people that need your words to follow them too.
um,
Many more people.
oh boy. Yeah.
I,
Maybe it's not Hagerstown, you
I
know?
don't know where to begin.
Maybe it's not Hagerstown. I'm tired of being persecuted and crucified. Like just you know, like come on. I'm
Girl,
not I
think
don't
on
huh?
think on think on that. Think on how they're treating you, and think of the work that Jesus did in his time. You are doing the same work that he was doing in his time, and you are receiving the same reaction that he received in his time.
Yeah, but I'm not Jesus.
Neither am I. I'm getting persecuted too,
I, I, I am a Jesus freak. His principles, I like Jesus. I savage Jesus. Like I like to see myself more like Peter. You know, Peter pulled out the sword and cut the ear off. You know, like as a protector. So I like to see myself as that. Like I don't. This I get it though because it's really in the humility, right? Like it's really in the moment that something goes like this, then ink goes like this, and I'm writing and I'm hurt, and then there's a poem, right? So in the pain and the humility, it produces something. So I get it, but to the level that it's been on, this started to feel a little soap opera-ish, Emmy. And I was like, wait a minute, like why does it start to feel like, you know, like that was just weird to me. So in order to get it to where I could see straight, because it was all cloudy, um, yeah, that thing that was it's annoying. And at this point, at this point, we'll see. You know, we'll see what it's looking like from here. I'm not running. I'm not scared. I'm not worried. It is what it is. I know that it's police. I know the current climate. I know that it's the I know that it's the political. I understand, and I know that my community is hurt, and I know that I don't want to hear sirens. You know, I get it, but there's purpose in the pain and in the anointing, right? Like you know, olives shaken, beaten, you know, squeezed to get that oil out, to get that healing out. So
Yeah. I'm wondering. I'm wondering if you know that you're not going to be confined to simply helping Hagerstown.
good, but
But you
it,
realize though, once you begin being heard by those outside of your walls, you open yourself to more persecution. I mean, you saw at the beginning of this live, um, for simply having an opinion that we need to unify as a people. I'm suddenly something. I People can have their opinions, but just be prepared. The closer you walk
Yeah,
with, you know that saying, the closer you walk with God.
yeah, yeah. I know, I know, I know. And that's the tough thing. And another thing that I know that who's in me and what walks with me and what covers me and my children. And I'm sure there's no mistake about whether I'm protected. I've sat in rooms by myself and been like, hey, yo, God, like make it plain. Like I needed to be clear. Like I need to see because I feel like I'm going crazy and everybody has an agenda right now. What's happening? And then I walk into a place and I hear there was a man that used to do poems called The Holy Ghost is Real. The Holy Ghost is Real. The man that did poems was my grandfather. My grandfather did a poem 40 some years ago called The Holy Ghost is Real. And they didn't realize that we were connected until I was already doing poems. So there was my answer, that my grandparents who have gone before me in Hagerstown, in our hometown, my grandfather was doing poems, the same way that I'm doing poems. So I don't really, I'm not confused about what I see, what I hear, I'm not. I'm just confused when it's a whole bunch of people's stuff that they try to hide different things in. Did that make
Yeah,
sense?
absolutely. Absolutely. Our journeys mirror so closely. I do have quite a few instances where, yeah, nah, there's an agenda here. I'm good. I'm not participating in that. It's hard because you have such a bright light, and there are those who recognize it and are trying to exploit it. You're gonna have to just
But rarely try to protect it. That's the interesting thing because it's like the sun. So until somebody until man can figure out something to maneuver the sun and take it down and take it up and all of that, like I've noticed how people want the light, they want to be near the light, but rarely will protect it. So that lets me know, like the light, just like the sun, you can't throw something up there and take the sun down when you want it down. You can't, like you can't do that. So
girl,
I get it.
Michael is just calling you out left and right. You are the sun. You are that bright light. You do bring you when you enter a space, when you enter a circumstance, you are the dawning of a new day. And there is nothing in this world that can lasso you and pull you back down, including yourself. Including yourself.
Wow. Yeah, it'd be like that.
Michael.
It'd be like that.
I'm glad he's talking to you instead of me, girl. 'Cause I'd be like,
It'd be like that. It do. It do. It's so yeah. Did I show you the painting that one of a local artist painted for me? Have I shown you? Have you seen it?
no, I haven't.
Hold on.
Okay.
My goodness, I'll be right back. Like,
Okay.
matter of fact, I'm just gonna hold on 1 second.
Tekesha is amazing, you guys. She's so amazing.
Hold on, because you gotta see.
Oh, that's
You see
you.
that?
That's you. Oh, pull
You
it
see the
back.
cracks in the teeth?
Hold on. Let me just. That's profound. That's you.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
That's your vision board. You know that, right?
yeah, this this reminds me to just go on and shoot. Just going to shoot. Love lace bullets of spit. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Yeah, just going to
Ooh,
shoot.
say that again. Love laced.
Love lace bullets of spit.
Woo! I always get
You know
goosebumps.
that poem, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm like, you know that poem.
You wanna, I know it's super late where you are, so I don't want to keep you too much longer. Do you want to share a poem?
Sure, sure. And this is by Judah Claxton, by the way. He's a local artist. I see somebody say the artist profound. Local artist. Yes, Judah Claxton. Sure. Let's just do that one since if saving the future means shooting life into you with love-laced bullets of spit, then I'm down for it. I said, if saving the future means shooting life into you with love-laced bullets of spit, then I'm down for it. With an attempt to make your heart bleed in order to receive the seed. 1 Corinthians 3:7 it reads, so then neither he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but God that giveth the increase. So I just dropped these seeds and you can take heed and at least paying attention. And I know looking within be hard, seeing those internal scars or hardened, stoned heart. We got fears everywhere. We got fears of sharing, fears of caring, and giving too much away. Newsflash, fear doesn't save the day. It hinders and holds us back. And poverty isn't the demon we need to attack, greed is. Poverty exists because of lack of faith. And at the very least, we could always give hope away because that process is necessary for growth. Forgiving adds value to our worth. We can create and give birth to dreams, visions. I stay on God driven missions. Following requires submission, and we always want to lead. Forgetting a sacrifice for our peace may require the sowing of a seed or the doing of a kind deed to one of our brothers and sisters in need. There's power in being of service. There's power in being of service, intentional and on purpose. We somehow must re-begin, no longer just existing and resisting God's word, choosing to feed off negativity while exhaling toxic energy. If we would just resist the urge to purge judgments and uncompassionate reactions, oh, how quickly we forget how things can happen. And just like that, in a blink of an eye, our focus off God and flesh becomes our God. No longer moving by God's design by spirit. Inconsistencies and flaws we cover and hide with stuff. Never having enough. Not even, don't want to give too much. Not even love. But aren't we thankful that God doesn't hold a grudge?
Ooh, girl. Ooh. that just That's one of my most favorite poems of yours. One of my
Really?
most favorite. Yes. Yes. And every time you share it, I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time again.
Hmm.
It's so profound. And if you listen to it, if you just listen to yourself saying it, it's so appropriate for the time that we're in right now. Like, it's like you wrote it for this time that we are living in right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting because my brother's keeper is like that too. That poem is like for right now. Like it's like for right now. They like my poems. Oh, thank you guys.
I love it.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
I wouldn't be too mad if you wanted to share that.
I was about to say, let's do that one. Let's go on and do it. I feel like this is how you got me here. All right, here we go. Um, Am I my brother's keeper? Absolutely. And I can guarantee you'll have a difficult time finding one with a yoke breaking anointing that's cheaper. I keep my brothers for free. It's pricely, but it costs me. Let me offer you proof it's in the fruit, love deep within the roots. I've been shaken, beaten, broken, and persecuted with word curses, gossip, and lies. But fruit draws flies. I'm constantly being pressed and refined like fine wine, established in 78, which is why I show up, especially in pain, and exclaim, love wins game. Gracefully broken on purpose to be present and tell you you are worth it and never alone. It's companionship loosed in this poem, so take it home. Look around you. Here we are again. We with Emmie and friends, and I've been sent to assist those who may feel the urge to resist the love shift. I speak life where there's fear with no fear. It's no mistake we're all here. Am I my brother's keeper? Absolutely. And I can guarantee with the release of these seeds spit directly into your spirit, when it quiets down, you will hear it. Peace, 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 peace. My brother's at ease. Don't fight the light. And I'm not here to minimize the plight. I'm just saying, no bad bones amongst the home team. Confront them out and get back to your dreams. Divine alignments, sibling assignments. My brothers, I know a tribe that's not blinded by Mr. and can't be bought by the good old boy system. And I got your back. Matter of fact, I've discerned the attack, I binded it up, and I sent it right the hell back. Am I my brother's keeper? Absolutely. And now that you know, I said, let my brothers go. No more control, no more holds. The system's been dismantled with love. Snuck in like a dove, then roared like a lion. It's been handled. No more trying. The enemy has been defeated with pure truth and light. Distractions to get you off track. Don't fall for that. Love has set us free, and this faith-filled poem is a key. My brothers at ease.
Ooh. Ooh, girl.
I feel better. Like it's like 3 in the morning and I'm up doing poems, like, and talking to Emmie. Like I feel better. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you for being a friend to me, like a genuine friend. Like, and you may not feel like it, right? You may feel like we're forever apart, whatever, but you're someone that it's a safe place for me to come to when it hurts. So even if I see the heart and you're like on it, like
Mhm. I
that's
felt that,
that's a
girl.
love bomb. That's a love bomb.
I saw, my phone was, I don't know, somewhere in the kitchen, and I was like, Tekesha, where's my phone? Because if most of the time I don't see notifications. My
I
ring.
know.
Mhm. Girl, I felt that.
I
I went
know.
to Keisha. Kids are like, what? I was like, where's my phone? Well, here's a little secret. I don't know if I ever told you. It's not just your words that follow me. No matter how silent, you've always been with me.
Amen.
Mhm.
Amen.
Girl, okay. We're gonna end this live so you and I can cry together in private.
I know. I know. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Thank you. I just love you. I do. I can't wait to the day like that. We meet in the middle and just hug it out, man. Just hug it out. Like you're my sister.
Girl, we're gonna do more than hug it out. We're gonna be in jammies, watching Netflix, eating all kind of.
You're my sister.
You absolutely are mine as well. Seriously, you're
Yes.
just as big a space for my heart as I am for yours.
Yes. Thank
That's
you.
all right, guys. Thank you so much for sharing the space with me and FiyahFly. Is there any last thing that you want to say?
No, I mean, no, thank you. Thank you so much for giving me a space too to just be free and to really talk about some things and to, at the same time, with only one agenda, the agenda. Love. I love you.
Yes. Open love,
Yes.
uncontrolled love.
Yes. That's right. Fire love.
Woo, girl. All right. Thanks, everyone. And good night to everyone. Thank you again, FiyahFly, for coming live with me. We'll see you guys again very soon.
Yes. Bye-bye.